Here's a Volkswagen Golf Mk6, which I will be changing the cabin air filter on. Now, the Volkswagen and Audi system for the cabin filter is much the same, and it uses the same filter on many, many different vehicles from the roughly the same generation cars. So if you have an Audi A3 or a Q3 or a TT, or the VW Beetle, or the Golf, obviously, the GTI, Jetta, Passat, Rabbit, and Tiguan, and probably some others that I can't remember, then this procedure will be identical, and it's probably the same filter as well. So if you have something other than fresh air in your cabin, then you want to replace the filter. Good idea to replace it every few years, more often if you're in a bad environment with a lot of dust and dirt, but even in a good environment, every few years is just good practice. So the first thing to do is shift the passenger seat backward, because you will need to be getting underneath the dashboard, underneath the glove box. That's where the cabin filter lives. The first thing you'll need to do to get access to the filter is to remove this fabric cover, which is at the bottom of the dashboard. It's a sort of pressed felt or carpet type arrangement, and it's held in place with two plastic screws, which you can just remove by hand, but if they happen to be quite tight or stiff, then they have slots for a flat-headed screwdriver, which you see me using here. So just undo them carefully, and do be careful because everything's plastic and it will break easily. Particularly if it's very cold, by the way. Be careful of plastics being brittle and breaking when things are cold. Once you've removed those screws, then you can simply pull the cover down and it will come away. And once you've got that out of the way, then you will be able to see where the cabin filter goes. And the filter itself is held in place with this black plastic cover, which is identifiable by the sort of honeycomb structure that it has on its outside for rigidity. And you remove that by finding the little pull tab toward the outside of the car and then sliding it to the outside of the car. And the reason I'm saying to the outside of the car instead of to the left is because this car in this video is a right-hand drive car, and on left-hand drive cars, everything is the mirror opposite. So in either case, you do it toward the outside of the car. So on a left-hand drive car, you would be sliding it to the right. And once you have slid it to the outside, then it will come away, and immediately the filter will probably drop down a few inches, and you will be able to pull out the filter the rest of the way. As you do that, just be a little bit aware that if it's particularly dirty, hasn't been changed in a long time, then you may get a bunch of dirt come out with it. So be prepared to clean that up afterwards. Once it's out, if you're interested, you can just have a little inspection of it, see how dirty it is. There may be, a bunch of insects and dirt and all sorts of crud on its outside facing side. You can also look at the date that's printed on the old filter. That will tell you when it was last replaced, or not necessarily when it was replaced, but for example, this one says 2013, whereas this is a 2011 car, so we know that this filter was replaced at least sometime after this date. And also this is a Volkswagen branded filter, which means it was probably installed by a dealership during a regular service. So now we need to think about the new filter. Here I have a Bosch filter. This box is a little bit beaten up during shipping, but the filter itself is fine. Now this is a activated carbon or charcoal filter, which is the best type to get because they just work that much better. Especially the charcoal does a good job at dealing with things like fumes in a way that a cheaper paper filter won't. And as far as brands are concerned, then obviously a genuine Volkswagen one would be a good option, but Volkswagen don't make their own filters. Volkswagen filter will just be a Bosch or something that's rebranded, and thereafter that Bosch or Mahle or Mahn are the good brands, not to exclude any others, of course. Okay, reinstallation of the filter is just the reverse of removal. get it in the correct orientation, and that is with the sort of chamfered corner at the top of it facing the outside of the car. And again, left-hand drive or right-hand drive doesn't matter. That offset, that chamfered corner always goes to the outside of the car. And by the way, the filter itself doesn't matter. There aren't different filters for left-hand drive or right-hand drive cars. You just flip the filter around whichever way suits, and it will work fine. So slide it up in there, and it won't set home all the way. It'll drop down those last few inches. And once it's at that point, you just get the plastic cover, and then you need to get the hooks on the plastic cover to go through the little slots in the filter base. So there are 6 of them. Make sure they're home, and then the cover will go back into its plastic bracket, and you would slide it home to lock it home toward the inside of the car. And with the filter cover securely in place, then it's time to put the dashboard cover back into position. Just get that so that the tubular vents go through the holes where they're supposed to, and then get it lined up with the holes where the plastic screws are going to go. And then get the plastic screws themselves home and do them up firm but not too tight. And the last thing you'll want to do probably is to give the passenger side footwell a bit of a clean. Here I'm just taking out the carpet and giving it a good bash to get all the dust out of it. If it was particularly bad, you might want to give it a vacuum, then put it back in and return the passenger side seat to the position that it was in to begin with. And then you are done. Of course, you can turn the cabin fan on, turn it on to full, make sure you don't have any blockage or anything like that. But you will now be getting hopefully fresher air than you had before. Okay, that's it. Hope that was helpful. Have fun.